Hello guys, how's Dirty December going for you? Fancy, your shirt looks like
Like
you did
I'm
something last night.
okay because it's dirty. I'm smelling,
Is there-
but
I didn't mean that, but
it's going to be dirty tonight.
oh really?
Yeah, really.
Precious, how's Dirty December
I
going
don't
for you?
understand what you guys are talking about. I'm a priest.
Wow. Okay. But basically, you guys know that Ruiz just became the newest member of Malian gang. Do you even know what a Malian is?
I said I'm a priest.
So you don't know what
Sorry,
a
you don't know what a
Malian is?
What you
Malian.
mean?
I'm sure you're a Malian.
You joined me. No belt.
No belt MVG. Welcome to another episode of the Sports Lounge. I have the guys here. You already know them, but a quick recap. This is Toby, this is Francis, and this is Precious.
Yeah.
So, guys, how have you been now? How's December been for you? It's been Lagos is horrible with traffic. Yeah, it's really messed up.
And you can stay in traffic and you are hungry. And once you wind down like this to buy gala, your car is messed up because of the pollution.
It's really
everywhere
crazy. It's
smelling
really crazy
smoke.
right now. But guys,
It's
we need to give our viewers the latest download on what's been happening. Toby, we're going to start with you. We're talking about Ruiz with being a Malian, but how did that happen for him? How did he lose that match? How did he do it?
For me, it was Anthony Joshua had to make a lot of changes, and he did make them. And of everything that has been said by the experts that he should make, I never doubted his ability to make it. But the only thing I doubted about him was just his stamina.
AJ stamina.
AJ stamina, yes, because it's shown that he has poor stamina. For example, in the Klitschko fight, he had to wait for a second wind before he could go ahead and knock out Klitschko. And then also the first Ruiz fight, after the punch around the hair or left hook that knocked out of his equilibrium, he couldn't get the second wind and he was gassed. So coming into this fight, I was like, AJ, get your weight down below 240. I actually sent him a direct message on Instagram.
Did he reply?
He didn't reply, but
But he got the message.
I'm sure he got it because the night on Friday, that's December 6th, when he weighed in and I saw 237 pounds, my confidence in an AJ victory increased to 80% straight away. Because
what level was it before?
it was 60% before, as I was watching his demeanor and all, and he was saying stuff like, when I win, I want everybody to bow at my feet. I was like, yeah, this is my AJ.
That's the energy. Get
This is
it,
what I
get
want.
it.
So, Ruiz hit the scales and I saw 283 pounds. I was like, what is Ruiz thinking? Like, why were you weighing that much?
But hasn't that always been part of his play? I guess he's always been that big guy.
I always call him a big baby.
Okay.
He's the original big baby. And but 283 is so much. In fact, you knowing that AJ is going to try and slim down to help his stamina and to also enable him move around. Because AJ cannot own the center of the ring against Ruiz. So I was surprised, but I felt maybe he went that high because he wanted to maybe take in a lot of his punches and try and dish it back. And when the fight came, the first round, AJ busted his eye. I was like, yeah, that is my AJ. Then the second round, third round, AJ won almost all the rounds.
It was almost flawless.
It was flawless. And what really impressed me about it was the way he could remain disciplined. It kept him at the end of the jab. It threw less right hand. I actually wanted him to get a late KO, but because the right hand wasn't flowing, he couldn't get that. So he just jabbed him, and Ruiz couldn't do anything. And when he got to the third round, Ruiz was like, "Come on, let's have a fight." I was like, "You care? No." So for Ruiz, he's a tough contender. He's someone that I know is going to beat almost everybody on that list, maybe apart from Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, because the guy is a good boxer. He's an excellent counter puncher, and he has extremely fast hands for a guy that big. So the best way to beat that kind of person is be mobile and keep him at the end of a jab. And that was all AJ did, and he killed it. So congrats to AJ.
A very big congrats. I mean, he had DJ Copy waiting for him. Oh yeah, she tweeted in a row way that when you're done, baby, come true.
Come true. I'm like,
Look how excited Francis is.
There been a very. I wish I was AJ. Dirty December.
Before we leave the whole AJ versus Ruiz fight, Precious, we were discussing earlier, and I think you said you have some questions.
I want to take a cue from your statements. You talked about the Klitschko fight.
yes.
Prior to that fight, AJ was averaging about 41 punches per round.
Yeah.
And in this fight against Andy Ruiz Jr., AJ landed 107 punches, a total of 65 of those punches were jabs. All right. And then 93% of the fight, AJ was at a distance. In your own, from your own expert point of view, what do you think AJ did differently this time compared to the first time they fought?
First, he got his weight down to help his stamina.
It seems that was really key.
That was the extreme key. He lost the muscle mass because they say muscles needs oxygen. They need oxygen, and then as the fight goes on, the muscle is going to suck up the oxygen. So what you are even meant to use to carry yourself through the fight, your muscles are just taking it in. Then the second thing is he made changes to his camp. He brought in 2 other trainers. I've forgotten their name. He didn't sack Robert McCracken, as people said, but he brought in 2 other people, added to what he had, and then made the necessary changes. So, and Ruiz, it will be extremely foolish to not be mobile against him because the guy has extreme fast hands and he can parry punches. You stun Ruiz with a right hand, he parries it. It hits him, but he parries it, and then he gives you 2 or 3 more.
I guess the weight helps him there because it doesn't really affect him.
It doesn't really affect, so he just parries it and then pam, pam, pam. So before you know, you are just like, I'm tired, what's happening? You understand? So you have to just keep him at the end of a jab and run round the ring.
You think this is just all about fighting, but the way he explains it, it
It makes it sound seductive,
really. Let's take a break from boxing. We'll get back to that and what AJ's plans are moving forward in 2020.
Yes,
Let's go to the best sport in the world. I'm sorry, guys. Football. We love football. Talking about champions like AJ, Liverpool are aiming to be champions, 10 points clear. They're doing everything right. Is 10 the magic number, Precious, for them this year?
Liverpool are runaway Premier League champions.
You're saying
There's
that.
no doubt about that.
But this is the interesting story I want to bring out from Liverpool. Earlier in the week, they played in the Champions League against Salzburg. Minamino, he worried them both legs, so it's obvious they're interested in him. He has a very, very cheap release clause, and I think Klopp is going straight for him. So I'm going to ask you, does it make sense to get a player just because he played all against you? So I need you to just help us key into that, and does it really make sense, basically?
Well, I think there is no predefined template if it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. Different strokes for different folks. I'm sure every club, big club, have their scouting team, and I'm sure it wasn't just that match alone that swayed the decision in favor of making that. However, you know that the player, having performed against Liverpool, has shown himself on the biggest stage. That, okay, I could do this both at Anfield and away from Anfield. If you look at it from both sides, there have been success stories. I think the biggest has to be Cristiano Ronaldo. He performed excellently well against Manchester United, and the guys were like, this guy must become one of us, So they got him in and he did well. You could also talk about, on the other side, you have players like Fernando Torres, who scored 7 goals against Chelsea, and then Chelsea spunked £50 million on him and had to wait several months and a heavy rainfall before he could get his first goal. Yeah, so it could work either ways. But looking at it financially, though, for that very low release clause, I think it's a low risk investment. They have little or nothing to lose. And then the fact that the guy is from Asia as well means that he opens up a new market for Liverpool in the Asian region as well. So for me, the move makes a whole lot of sense for Liverpool and for the player himself.
No, but how much do you think he can impact the team?
He's not going to become a first-team player. But then what people have criticized Liverpool for in the past is not having enough depth.
Yeah. Do they have enough depth right now?
Well, I wouldn't say they don't have enough depth. Liverpool are enjoying the benefit of the fact that the chasing pack have not really been up to scratch. They've not given them a competition this season. So they have not had to rely on the likes of Shaqiri, who was a very, very great sub. Origi has stepped up to the plate now.
He always does something anytime he comes in. He
But
always
then-
does something.
Yeah, but then bringing in a goal-scoring midfielder like Minamoto, Minamino reminds me of Nakamoto. Yeah, it's an added advantage for Liverpool, and I'm sure he's going to deliver the goods.
Okay, before we go to the second best sport in the world from now on, even though it's dirty December, one man is aiming to ensure that his December is clean, and that's Dean Anderson for Sheffield. He got another clean sheet again.
Yeah.
What do you think the scenario will be with United when he is done on his loan with Sheffield? Do you think he's going to bench there? Because honestly, he's performing a whole lot well.
Yeah.
He is. So what do you think that whole situation will be when he's done on?
I think United may have the kind of situation Chelsea had with between Thibaut Courtois and Peter Cech, a club legend, because they are definitely
He is
has
a
to
club
be
legend.
classed as a legend of
club
Manchester United. They are going to have a similar situation where they will have to make a decision on either retaining David De Gea, or you cannot sit David De Gea on the bench for a
Dean
rookie.
Anderson.
As far as I'm concerned,
He's still a rookie.
He's still a rookie. Yeah. So, but then the owners will fall on the coach to make that decision. I hope for United's sake, it's not going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the time.
At the time,
because it doesn't look like that kind
someone
of
that can make that kind of
policy
decision.
manager who will make that kind of decision. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Precious. Francis, the Formula One season is over. We already know that. But what's been the highlight of the season? If you were to give us a review, what's your review going to be? And also, what happened to Ferrari in 2019, and what's going to change for them in 2020?
Okay, so let's start from a recap of the entire season. So coming into the season in Melbourne, Austria, in March, everybody had it in mind that Mercedes, best power unit, best overall package, they're going to kill it again, Bottas and Hamilton. But of which, yes, we know Hamilton always gives his all. So in an interview during the previous week, Hamilton said he goes into a race hoping to give it his all, so that when he's going home, he's exhausted and he can't even walk. So that is mind-blowing to think of. And then going into the season, after the first race, he showed that, yes, Mercedes were on point. When we kept on going, yes, Mercedes were doing well. And all of a sudden, Ferrari came, winning 3 races, Belgium and 2 other cities. And it seemed like they found the killer. Because, Ferrari has been losing up to 80 brake horsepower since the hybrid era, which started 2014. So everybody has been looking at, okay, they are the chasing pack. Before, during the days of Schumacher, Ferrari was the king. But then, they did something. They found an extra 100 horsepower. And that is a lot to add to an engine. And Ferrari were killing it. There was a time Hamilton was chasing Leclerc, and he said it on the radio, I can't do anything, I can't meet up. And he was asking for extra horsepower, can they give him something, more power? And it didn't work out. But going on, we got to some other races where Ferrari, all the race pace just disappeared, just like that. And it was funny how that happened, because it happened immediately after Verstappen spoke up after a race and said, they should go and check Ferrari, that how come they have so much pace. Because Verstappen believes Red Bull and Ferrari are on the same level at race pace. And I'm sure he was...
Do you believe so?
Yes, on race pace. Oh, Red Bull is on another level. I'm coming to that. So he believes, because he's aiming for, in the ranks, there are 2 guys, one from Red Bull, Verstappen, one from Ferrari, Leclerc. And these 2 guys are becoming awesome rookies. Like they're not, you can't call them rookies anymore, coming from. Leclerc has never spent more than 1 year in a team. After the following year, he always changes team. This is the first time he's going back-to-back years in a team, which is really awesome, showing that this is the rookie of the season. Benito, the manager, the team principal of Ferrari, was like, to manage these guys, from the outside, we look at it like there's a chaos going in there, because, they took themselves out two races to the final race. They are always having issues. But he said that to have a 4-time world champion and an upcoming star is a luxury. And then, so this just, it tells you what is going on in both sides. But, I mean, Ferrari lost out. It seemed that they had an engine, they tweaked their engine illegally. But yet again, what I'll say, I mean, Formula One is
you want to
better than, you know, when I watch football, one of my things that used to annoy me, I mean, I'll be walking on the street in Lagos, Abu will hit me, and I'll still have, I'll ginger, like, okay, what you think is something? You will just pass, you just breathe on them, and just for, hey, just roll out of the field. I mean,
Okay.
but in Formula One, everybody knew, I mean, they cannot find that amount of race space. Ferrari cannot find that amount of race space in one weekend. Like in a couple of days, how did they do it? There was speculation that they've tweaked their fuel flow, so it should be 100 kilometers per gallon. But then it was speculated that they tweaked it and made it more, so which will make the car faster invariably. And nobody, until Verstappen just spoke and he died there. Everybody knew and nobody pointed fingers. That is, I'm sure all those guys are from Benin. Because coming from there, we don't snitch. So if you snitch, for you. You know that kind of thing.
Verstappen, Zene.
So you know, but then at the end of the season, I really loved the race in Vietnam, Hanoi. That was like a very beautiful city and a beautiful racetrack to bring onto the scenes. Next year it will be the third race of the season also. But then going to the end of the season, you now realize, okay, the best power unit might come from Ferrari but the best of our package is still Mercedes. You cannot beat that. And I mean, Lewis Hamilton is just a god. With the final race, he said he was going into the final race to give it his best, even when he had already won the championship 2 races earlier. And then he went into the final race and had a grand slam. Race win, pole position, highest number of laps led. That means all laps he led everything, and then fastest car of the day, like fastest lap.
Lewis Hamilton is the face of
great,
Formula One.
as in he's for now not the best overall racer in history, but I mean of his time he's just awesome.
Thank you so very much, Francis. I'm hearing it's court time, so we'll be going to Ayo very soon. When we come back, Precious will be giving us a little preview on the El-Clasico coming up. Francis is going to be educating us about spoilers, and Toby will be telling us what AJ's schedule is for the end of the year and going into 2020. And I believe there are 2 more big fights this year. So, Ayo, how are you doing?
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the best of basketball with me, Ayo, on the Sports Lounge, only on Elegbete TV. Man, it feels like a century out of action, but I'm so excited to be back with y'all again. Now the season has progressed really well. We've seen some exciting players, some great teams, and some rather disappointing teams. But on this episode, we will be focusing on players which, you know, a lot of us thought this season would be their season to explode, because over the past few years they've been showing trends of greatness, but then against all our hopes and against all our thoughts, they have been very poor this season. The most disappointing players, in my opinion, in the NBA this season, and here they are. Number 1 is Lauri Markkanen of the Chicago Bulls. Come on, man. I mean, last season, before he got injured, he played 52 games. He was averaging close to 19 points and 9 rebounds per game. He was shooting 43% from the field. I had an opportunity to speak to him during the All-Star weekend in Charlotte, where I was very sure, I made sure I told him he had a great future and he had touches to be, one of the best big man shooters we've ever seen. I mean, when Dirk Nowitzki was about to retire, there were just 2 names that were touted as the possible next Dirk. I'm talking about Lauri Markkanen and Kristaps Porzingis. And so you can imagine why a lot of people felt Markkanen will be the man. But since he came back from the injury, he's lacked confidence. This year, he's scoring just 14.3 points per game. And there are times news have come out there, speculation that he might be dropped to the bench. He's not shooting the ball well. He's lacking in confidence, and therefore he has to be number 1 on. I mean, he has to be one of those guys who have been rather disappointing this season. Let's move on quickly. I mentioned Kristaps Porzingis a little while ago, and that is very true because he's also been a disappointment. Now, make no mistake, the Dallas Mavericks as a team have been solid. They are right there, one of the top 3 teams in the Western Conference, and their success this season is due in large part to the man Luka Doncic, who is averaging a near triple-double, scoring over 30 points in the process. And it's amazing because going into this season, when we were looking at the most dynamic duos in the league, we looked at Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. But unfortunately, Kristaps Porzingis has not been able to live up to the expectation. And so that further goes to show what an amazing and historic season the man Luka Doncic is having. Now, Kristaps Porzingis in the 2017-2018 season, played 48 games where he was balling 22.7 points per game. He was shooting the ball well, stretching the floor well for his team, and then he got injured, and since he came back, he missed the entirety of last season with a torn left ACL, but since he came back this season, he's been a shadow of himself. He's struggling to shoot the basketball, 16.6 points per game, very low shooting numbers from the field and from 3-point range. I remember a game where the Mavericks played and it was on TNT, and Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley were saying they wished Kristaps Porzingis could get the ball more in the paint, and whenever there were switches and he had a small man, he should bully them in the paint and get easy buckets. That will raise his confidence, but instead he chooses to shoot the ball from range, and his shooting numbers have been very poor. Kristaps Porzingis, come on, man. You were touted to be the next Dirk Nowitzki. What the hell are you doing? Oh, man. All right, number 3 has to be someone I respected a lot, and permit my use of the word respected. You understand why. DeAndre Jordan. His last 5 seasons with the Los Angeles Clippers in the Blake Griffin and Chris Paul era, boy, he was playing well, always a double threat, especially doing great things on the rebounding aspect of the game and on defense. But since he moved to the Brooklyn Nets, it was interesting because when Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant announced that they will be playing in the Brooklyn Nets, DeAndre Jordan also announced he will be playing in Brooklyn. We're like, damn, this is going to be big. It's an era of dynamic duos, but we might be having a big 3. And with Kevin Durant out injured, the thought was, all right, let's see how DeAndre and Kyrie will play. But guess what? DeAndre has started only 3 games all season. Why? He's now playing second fiddle to Jarrett Allen. Yeah, you heard it, Jarrett Allen. Who would have thought that DeAndre Jordan's productivity will go down? He's not even averaging double-digit rebounds now. He's averaging 9.4 rebounds, his lowest output since the 2013-2014 season. What could have gone wrong? Obviously, Ken Atkinson, the coach there in Brooklyn, feels like the younger Jarrett Allen is getting more production, and you can't blame him. He rebounds the ball really well. He plays great defense, and DeAndre Jordan right now is just earning a lot of money for nothing. Let's see how it goes for him. And the final guy on the list, you will agree with me, is probably the most disappointing player in the NBA today. I'm talking about none other than Lonzo Ball. Yo, come on, man. He was drafted 2nd overall by the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James joined, and it was like, well, maybe LeBron's influence in the team is too much for Lonzo Ball. LeBron is going to be the primary ball handler, the primary facilitator, and Lonzo Ball, who's known for his passing, will struggle in the system. And thankfully for him, he was traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. And then we thought this season, having Lonzo Ball with Brandon Ingram, with Drew Holiday, and with Zion Williamson until Zion went out injured, we felt it was Lonzo's season to shine. I was particularly excited for this young man, and I was raring to see exactly what he would do. But look at Lonzo. Lonzo cannot play. I'm sorry. Lonzo is a bust. He's averaging 10 points per game, 5.5 assists per game. Lonzo is someone who should be averaging close to double-digit assists, but guess what? He doesn't even start many games for the Pelicans anymore, and he tries to shoot the 3 ball when he doesn't even have a jumper. Whew! I don't know what y'all think, but Those are the 4 guys I feel have been the most disappointing to me. If you feel like I missed anybody out or you don't like any of my selections, you know where to do it. Go to the comment section and let us know exactly what you think. And that will be it on this episode of the Best of Basketball with me, Ayo, on the Sports Lounge, only on Elegbete TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I'll be handing you back to the team of legends for the next level on the show. It's a happy Christmas here. Ho, ho. I'll catch y'all on the other side.
Thank you so very much, Ayo. So let's get into it, Precious. El-Clasico is the biggest football match in the world. Does Real Madrid stand any chance against this Barcelona team?
Okay, quickly, let's take a little step back in history. The biggest scoreline in the history of the El-Clasico was Real Madrid trouncing Barcelona by 11 goals to 1 in 1943. That was in the Copa del Rey. In 1932, Real Madrid again trounced Barcelona by 8 goals to 2. Okay,
no wonder the rivalry is so strong.
So it's been a big one. There have been 28 hat-tricks in the history of the El-Clasico. 15 of those hat-tricks, those 28 hat-tricks, 23 of them were scored by 15, I think, different players, so they're about 15 of those players from Barcelona. Lionel Messi has scored the hat-trick twice in the El-Clasico. You know, goals win games. So there is no way we most likely will see goals in this match. Lionel Messi is on 41 appearances and he has been involved in 40 goals in the history of the El-Clasico. 26 goals. I said 26 goals and 14 assists.
In the biggest match in the world.
So if he is selected this time around, of course we all know he's going to be selected. He will be on 42, tied with Sergio Ramos and I think Xavi Hernandez in the all-time appearance list. So he's going to be the star man of the show. This game could swing in any direction because Barcelona they've not been really at their swashbuckling best.
Do you know this makes, I'm sorry I'm taking it, but do you know this is what makes the UCL so interesting now, because we can't really say any team is a strong favorite.
Yeah, exactly. So this game could swing anywhere. For me, this could be the kind of game where Hazard announces himself on the big stage.
Come on. And Hazard is not doing very well.
What is Hazard? Is it donut?
So, I'll give me a prediction. In fact, I'm going to take a prediction from all of you.
Yeah, I would say a Barcelona win because of the Lionel Messi factor.
Dash the scoreline. Let's put a sprinkle of the scoreline. What do you think the scoreline will be?
3 goals to 1 in favor of Barcelona.
Francis, let's go.
2-1 Barcelona.
Toby?
3-1 Barcelona.
Thank you so very much, Precious. So, Toby, when is AJ going to fight Wilder? We want to see that fight. Everybody wants to see that fight.
I know we all want to see it, but the teams have to be realistic. Wilder has to accept his place as the B side. He doesn't want to accept that, and that's what is really delaying this fight.
Why does he need to accept that? I'm sorry.
Because Wilder fought Ortiz on November 22nd, 21st, thereabout. Okay. And the pay-per-view sales he made were about 130,000. Anthony Joshua, his fight on December 7th, he sold 1.6 million pay-per-view in the UK. And then in the US, 1.8 million people watched the bout on DAZN with 200,000 new subscribers. That's about $56 million in revenue from just TV sales from the two countries. So it's clear AJ is the money man. Is the
cash cow.
Is the cash cow for the heavyweight division. So Wilder just needs to be realistic. And most of the discussion has been, okay, Wilder, let's take this split 60-40, 55-45. Then we have a rematch in the US or something. But he's just very envious of AJ, and you'd see it from the way he speaks that he's very envious of.
Why is the envy you use? I think you're a bit sentimental towards AJ.
No, I am.
I mean, if you believe you can beat this guy, I wouldn't want to open for anybody just like that.
AJ wants this bout.
Does he?
He does. He said, let's get undisputed trendy because this man is an Olympian, gold medalist. He's fought in the World Championships. He's fought European Championship bouts too. He has 4 of the 5 belts. So he's just undisputed in his to seal his legacy. So he wants this bout. But Deontay Wilder is just holding that belt hostage. He's not fighting top competition. The Luis Ortiz that he fought is an old man.
Washed up.
Washed up. Fight your mandatory Dillian White. He doesn't want to fight. For you cherry picked Tyson Fury thinking he was bloated up and he won't be able to fight. Unknown to the Gypsy King is a stunner. And he stunned him. And they're going to run it back in February. I think. What do you think will win that bout?
Yeah, I love Wilder. There's something about Wilder I love. Anyways, Toby. So just basically, you're saying we might not see the fight anytime soon, yeah?
My prediction for that fight will be in 2021, provided none of them takes another loss. But I think Wilder will take a loss in February 22, and then it will be Joshua Fury late 2020.
Thank you very much, Toby. Francis, I'm going to end with you. I don't know if you guys know what spoilers are. There's something you put on top of your boot. I'm sure we'll have a picture to show our viewers. So Francis, what is it about spoilers? I don't understand why people even have them.
Okay, so the spoiler is factory built, that thing that is behind your car on top of it. And in Formula One, spoilers were introduced to help distort the air and squeeze the back of the car into the ground. So to reduce oversteer, that is losing the back end of the car in corners and all that. So spoiler invariably in your road cars, one gives you, gives you more confidence to run because the faster you go, the more air you cut through, distorting, hitting the spoiler, and when it hits the spoiler, it's squeezing up, and air is kind of dense. Sort of, the scientists to know.
Sorry, can the spoiler help me to avoid Lagos traffic?
No, it can't.
I'm sorry, go on.
It can't, but it can. When you have like a racetrack, for me, my best racetrack is the Third Mainland Bridge. Like once I hit it, oh my God. The other day, my girlfriend was with me and she was just screaming like she had never done that kind of thing. So
remind me not to drive with you.
We have a race though.
I don't have any race with you.
30 December, bro. 30 December, we have a race. So it just squeezes your back end into the ground, gives your tires more grip, to take on whatever you feel you want to take on, spoiling the drag and airflow. And
is that why it's called spoiler?
That's why it's called spoiler, because it spoils the drag and the airflow and makes everything more awesome.
You notice the look on Francis' face
I
when he was describing.
I really do.